What do I do? Do we need this? It's a group assignment and they failed it. Learn to code in MIPS. Do not do this course. Assessment layout, you have 2 assessments. You're thrown into the deep end. Today's video will be my honest opinions, regrets, and just overall thoughts for each UNSW core COMPSCI course because I recently just did my final to complete it off. So this will be things that I wish someone told me before I started each of these courses because there are some like things that I wish I could redo so that it was a better experience. There are 7 core COMPSCI courses and maths courses, but I'm just gonna like summarize maths in general because that's not really that important. The most important courses in my opinion, if you want to do well in computer science, is COMP1511, COMP2521, and COMP1531. I'll go into more detail for each of them and my pros and cons.
But I have so many thoughts and opinions specifically on one of the courses, which is the one that I just did, and that course really like triggered my brain. By the way, I have my laptop here because I wrote down and summarized everything that I wanted to say. The first course that you have to take at UNSW for computer science or engineering in general is COMP1511. It's called Programming Fundamentals. In this course, you learn how to code in C and you learn to develop any sense of logic in coding.
This is an important course because this is the foundation of everything, especially if you've never coded before, just like me. I have never done any programming before going into my course. So my experience was that the first and second shoot will be really chill. You'll be like,
yo, this degree is for me.
But then when you get to the first assignment, you will start to feel the confusion and the true nature of computer science. And a lot of people at this point will realize that computer science is not for them and they will change to information systems or something else. I would say yes, computer science is very demanding. You can do like, okay, you can just pass computer science, but I don't know if you'll get a job. So yeah, I didn't do this course with any of my friends or anyone that I knew and I was fine. There are some courses that I will point out where I think you really should do it with friends. First tip is that
start the assessment early or get the first 2 stages done really quickly.
Okay, these first 2 stages I remember they should be pretty like straightforward. I did this course 2 years ago, so I'm not sure if we had a stage 4 for our assignments, but I know that there was definitely stage 3. You're usually given 2 weeks to do the assignments and it progressively gets harder. So stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4. 4 is going to be like really hard. Not everyone will do it, but obviously you should attempt to do it if you want to do well in computer science. But it will really use a lot of thinking, debugging, and just understanding your logic in general. Second tip, go to help sessions.
COMP1511 has the most tutors to help out because engineering students also have to do this course, not just computer science.
And make sure you go well before the due dates of any assignments because the day of the assignment or the day before, I can assure you probably won't be able to see a tutor. But literally 2 days before the assignment's due, I remember I went, no one was there. It was only the day of and the day before the assignment. Everyone was there freaking out. The assessment layout for this course is that there are 2 assignments that each have 4 stages and there will be a final where you have to pass certain questions to pass the course. It doesn't matter if you got 100% in the assignments, you did
all the weekly labs, you did well.
If you don't pass these hurdles, then you will not pass the course. So moving on to tip number 3, no AI no matter what you do. If you use AI once, it will snowball effect that you can't think without it. And you think you know what you're doing when you read the solution that AI gives to you. I can assure you won't.
Do not use it.
In my final, there were 4 hurdle questions, arrays, linked lists, pointers, and I don't know if there was anything else. I'm pretty sure that was it. You don't have to get 100% for the hurdles, you just need to pass the hurdle.
Initialize your arrays, that sort of stuff, be able to like navigate through it, find a value, whatever.
It should be like doable because it's a hurdle. Next one, if you go to any tutes, you must, I regret not going to the last tute, which is I think week 9.
Where you do a practice test on the UNSW lab computers.
It's different to like coding on your like normal laptop, like left click to get the terminal to open up VS Code. So when I was in my actual test, I spent 20 minutes trying to find where the terminal was and I was like, do they not give you tests to do it? They did, but I just like couldn't find it. Anyways, I found it and I was like chill. That is the end of COMP1511. So much, but yeah, COMP1521 is computer system fundamentals. So you learn to code in MIPS, very much not like code that you see. I've never coded in MIPS other than that course. MIPS looks like this. You learn about bit manipulation and it should be like chill, But the last 2 weeks, they cram the most confusing topic, which is threads, but you can still pass the course if you don't learn that content.
But if you do want to get 100% for the final, you do have to learn threads because it will be like 30% of the final.
My experience, before I went into this course, I obviously asked people that did it to like see what was like, what should I be afraid of this course. I even agree with what everyone said. MIPS is so confusing at the beginning, but one day it will just click. I remember for me, it clicked for me in week 4, and week 4 was the point where I could code in MIPS without really thinking much about it. But before that, I was really confused. And I really liked the bit manipulation and file systems content of this course because it made sense. I didn't do this course with friends and I was fine with that. Tip number 1, the lecture slides are pretty good for this course, I would say. They kind of give you the template of what your answers should look like for your weekly lab. So if you look at them, you'll basically get the answer, which is amazing because not many courses do that. Yeah, not really much else for this course. Assessment layout, you have 2 assessments just like 1511 that have subsets in it. Yeah, and then there's a final hurdle, marks hurdle, so you just need at least 40% to pass. Next one, COMP1531 Software Engineering Fundamentals. This one is one of the important courses that I said because you learn about how Git commands, GitHub, Git repos, all that sort of thing. It's a group assignment, solely a group assignment, but you do have weekly labs, APIs, you learn to code in TypeScript, and COMP1511 is like the only course where they give you tests, like auto tests. Of every other course other than that, you have to start writing your own tests and start thinking about like edge cases and stuff, which is kind of hard to do straight off the bat, but you kind of learn it through 1531, which is good. I honestly like writing tests, especially for 1531, because it was very like mindless work. I didn't really need to think. And you learn about coverage, which is making sure that your tests actually cover every line of code. So my experience, I've explained this before in my other video talking about UNSW, but it was my favorite CompSCI course. And a lot of people will probably not agree because if you have bums in your group, it's genuinely like a terrible experience. This course genuinely made me understand the whole meaning of CompSCI and computer science. Since I enjoyed my group, I actually enjoyed coding, which is probably why I'm still like doing my degree. If I didn't do 1531, I probably would not like it as much. Learn to code backend for 2Hack, which is basically Kahoot, spelled backwards as well, and you make like a quiz platform. For our final demo, I don't know if you need to demo it, but my group didn't need to demo it. I don't know why or how they knew that we were like fine. Tip number 1 though, the only thing that I have to say for this course is get a good group. I know it's hard to like predict, if you will. Course will teach you the importance, the significance of effective communication. If you've never used GitHub before,
Git pooling, Git pushing, Git branches.
So confusing. The importance of like good teammates really comes when you have conflicts when you're merging your branches, because you don't want to merge in something that could break the code. So then you have to talk with your group, like, what do I do? Do we need this code or do we not? It's honestly peak bonding experience because you spend so much time talking with your group in Discord calls. Separate into 2-week sprints, which is where you have to finish number of functions and then demo it to your tutor in the every second lab. The nights before that they were due, my group and I spent, I would say we pulled like 2 all-nighters. It was mainly just test writing, conflicts, which is what we spent most of our time actually doing because we were like, yo, do I merge this in? Cool. Assessment layout, you do have weekly labs, and this is why it's good to have a good group, because you have one major project, which is the Kahoot. Have weekly labs, then you guys can help each other out. There's no final, which is why I love this course, because no final. I don't like coding under pressure. Next one, maths courses. You have to do, I did 1231, 1131, and 1081.
You do proofs, imaginary numbers, but if you didn't do 4 unit in HSC, it's still chill. You'll still be able to like figure it out.
In-person tests, go to the computer labs. I forgot what the website was called, but you will know if you go into first year, because everyone will be like, did you do the weekly quiz? I forgot what the name of it was. You need at least 50% to pass, I'm pretty sure, but it's chill. You learn to do calculations in R. Honestly confusing at first, but over time, it's like there's just like specific steps that you have to follow for every question, and you'll be fine. If you don't really understand the theory, just know like what steps you need to do. I remember when I was doing it, I was like, there's no way like I'm going to pass, and I did fine. And I did do this course with friends, and I really think this is a course that you need to do with friends, because you will just not understand the theory, and then maybe they will find a technique and be like, yo, this is how you do it. And then once you know the technique, you can do it for any type of question. And this is the one certain courses, maths courses, that they give you so many practice questions on. I don't know if you can use a calculator, but R, especially for like some Cartesian equation, I think there was. If I can do it, you can do it. Next one, level 2 computer science courses, which are kind of getting trickier. Okay, so COMP2511, object-oriented design and programming. This course, you learn to code in Java. I genuinely don't remember what this course was about. I did it last year, but I get it confused with 2521. I was looking through my notes just to like refresh my memory, and you learn to basically make good code, refactoring, which you will need to know for anything you code in the future. Different patterns, strategy pattern, factory pattern, for any course in like computer science and UNSW, and I'm sure in general, they don't teach you how to like code in Java. You just get given like a week to just like do it yourself. It's like a language, you're just like translating it into different one. That's why I think 1511 is important, because that's like the one course where they teach you to actually code, and you basically translate that to different coding languages, which is gonna be hard if you didn't have a good understanding of C. This one, you have weekly labs. In each lab, you walk through your solution with your tutor. As some people say, a YAP course. If you can YAP well, you might do well, but your tutor, well, my tutor asked really specific questions, so you kind of had to know what you were doing. And there are 2 assignments. One of them is a pair assignment and one of them is not. I'm pretty sure I did do this with someone that I knew, with a friend, and yeah, but I don't remember what the assignment was. But I know that we did do some pair work in there. The final is a 40% pass hurdle. So no specific question, just 40%. The next one, this is arguably the most important COMPSCI course that you have to know, COMP2521, data structures and algorithms. This is the most, like, I can't stress how important I think that this course is, because it really will affect how you do future courses. You learn about time complexity, different sorting algorithms, binary search trees such as balancing, finding values, creating BST, graphs, BFS, DFS, Dijkstra's algorithm, hash tables, priority queues, heaps. You learn so much in this course. I did it with 2 other courses, so I full stacked that course, but I just remember being like really overwhelmed at the assessment, because it's just like, it's so much theory, and it's the first time that you actually code, because COMP1511's kind of like simple code. This is like kind of actual code. You're thrown into the deep end, is what I felt when I was doing this course. And you need to know all this for COMP3121, which is the course I did this term. I'll talk about more about that one later. My number 1 tip before I move on and talk about my experience: do not do this course as your second computer science course. I don't know if you have that opportunity to do that if you only study computer science, but I did do a double degree, so I had first year commerce courses to do. But I know a lot of people that have done this as their second course and they failed it because they took it straight after 1511, and they just couldn't, like, they just told me that they were so confused the whole course. This is also a course that you have to do with a friend. I can't imagine how I would do if I didn't do this course with anyone I knew. Obviously you can make friends in class, but it's easier to just like go into a class, a hard class, knowing that you already have someone that you can like talk to about with like the weekly labs and stuff, because this is genuinely like, I just remember it was a tough course. Really recommend, do not solo this course, do not do that. You really have to stay on top of this course. Try to learn at least the general gist of what everything is, because you will need to know for COMP3121,
such as like, what are priority queues, what's merge sort, what's time complexity.
I remember I was really confused with time complexity and like what the whole concept of what is time complexity. Just like 1511, it's a foundational course, so you have to be good at it. I don't know if other people agree that COMP2521 is like as important, but I would say for anyone that is going into it, it is as important as 151 or even more important. So you want to actually be prepared for this course, because it will set you up for any future computer science course you take. And it's really, I think, the essence of computer science is this course. You still code in C, but I just remember the coding portion of this course was hard for me. I thought it was very confusing. The theory you can understand in like a week, but actually implementing it into code, there's so many different things that you have to remember. And tip number 3, as I've said before,
COMP1511 is like the only computer science course that gives you tests.
So if you want to get 100% for the assignments and stuff, you have to consider all your own cases and the edge cases. They do provide you 3 tests for the assignment, but I'm pretty sure they don't tell you what the test is. It may or may not include an edge case, but there are obviously so many edge cases when you code. But moving on from that, assessment layout, you have weekly labs, same as COMP2511. You just talk through it with your tutor. There was like one time my code like kind of broke in front of the tutor, and then we just like sat there awkwardly. I remember it was for like a Dijkstra's algorithm one, and then my thing didn't actually find the shortest route, and he was like, oh, and I was like, wait, give me a second. So he was like kind enough to like let me do it again on the spot, but I don't know if all tutors will let that happen. I'm pretty sure they will, because they're like students as well. They know the stress of it. 2 assessments, 2 assignments. I'm pretty sure it's split into stages as well, just like every other usual COMPSCI course, and a hurdle of 40%. I think now they changed it, so you have to at least get 25% theory correct and 25% coding correct, which I think they recently implemented, because I don't think they had it when I did it. So it might be harder to pass, or they might have made the questions easier just in relative to like the hurdle. Underload it if you have the opportunity to underload this course, but if you full stack with like full load with other courses, I did that, so it should be doable. COMP1511 algorithms and programming techniques. This is the course that I just did for my final. Honestly, looking at it now after doing it, it's not as bad as I thought it was in the moment, because there is no coding in this course. It's pure theory and algorithms. So that's why you have to do well in 2521, because you kind of learn a few algorithms already and then different techniques to solve the 3121 questions. So if you really like riddles or problem solving, you will really enjoy this course, because it's basically just like problem solving and like thinking logically outside of the box kind of way. And you'll need all the knowledge in 2521 to do your proofs. You will need all of it, I can assure you, because you have to prove the time complexity of all your algorithms, which is what you learn in 2521.
You have to know sorting algorithms, you have to know Dijkstra's algorithm, you have to know like priority queues, heaps. I know that I had to know that for greedy algorithms.
I know more about this course because I just did it, but there will be 5 subtopics that you learn about.
Divide and conquer, greedy algorithms, dynamic programming, flow networks, and intractable problems.
I didn't do this course with any of my friends and I was fine. For the labs, you don't need to stay for the whole 2 hours. You just need to get your thing marked off and then you can leave. I looked through the lecture slides. I don't think that they were helpful. Only for flow networks, I thought they were helpful, but for the other ones, I think it's easier just to learn it yourself. My tip for this course to do well,
which I only like figured out in week 8, and that helped me like understand a lot of the theory.
Research the good old-fashioned way using Google, because I realized that as convenient as it is for AI to summarize all the information for you, I don't think it explains it as well or makes me understand it as well as searching it on YouTube for videos or like on Google to find actual like coding websites that give you examples and walk through it. It might sound like, yo, you just like don't know how to read like summarized information. No, like I got it, I just still had so many questions about it, so I had to keep asking like other follow-up questions, and it was just like, no, when you can just read a simple sentence that someone that actually studied COMPSCI doing and created that like that explanation, they can summarize it so much better and explain it so much better.
There'll be some specific examples like dynamic programming. I remember that was a specific topic I chucked into ChatGPT and I was like, explain to me dynamic programming using really simple language, because I was so confused, and seeing ChatGPT explain it to me, I was like, yeah, okay, I think I get it. Tried a question, couldn't do it, didn't actually know what I was doing. And then
this website, Geeks for Geeks, is so good. You don't need lecture slides, you don't need anything, just Geeks for Geeks.
It explains every single algorithm technique so well, like greedy algorithms, dynamic programming. I know dynamic programming, it was really helpful for that. I understood it.
And it literally gives you the time complexity of sorting algorithms and other general question formats. For flow networks, YouTube videos are really good. There was this YouTube video where it was just like explaining stuff under a minute and it would go through an example, and that really helped me. I think greedy algorithm is the most like riddle type in my opinion. I don't know why I keep associating with riddles. Dynamic programming is kind of like, it's like the feeling, the vibe of proof by induction. It's very much like the step by step. You do a subproblem, base case, recurrence relation, order of computation, and final solution. So it's like that. It's like induction where it's step by step. And I would say for some greedy algorithms, you do need to prove it by proof by induction. So it's good to still keep that in mind if you still remember from year 12. There are no assignments for this course actually. There's only weekly labs, and I know that they changed it because last year when my friends did it,
they had to show their tutor all of the labs that they did. I don't know if they cut down the number, but they said they had like 10 or 20 to show the tutor, because you can like get your week 2 to week 4 marked off. So they had so many to like mark off with the tutor, but so did everyone else in the course. So my friend had to wait like over 8 hours and didn't actually get theirs marked off. So I would say it's obviously better now, because now you just need to show your tutor one of them.
For this course, you get to choose if you want to get a credit, distinction, high distinction, and you do the labs based on what you want to select. So if you do like a distinction one, then you will show your tutor one of the distinction problems for the weekly lab, and then they'll just like be like, talk to me through your solution, and then they'll ask you questions about it. There's a hurdle for the final, 40%. And it's a pen to paper final, so you have to write down your algorithm and stuff like that.
I got to bring in 10 pages of notes. I'm pretty sure my friends could also bring in notes when they did it last year, so hopefully they keep it like that. But
the most like frustrating part of this course was when your tutor just keeps like telling you to resubmit the code. Wait, I haven't gotten 2 of my labs marked off, and it's basically holiday season, so let me see if they marked it off. Someone else marked it off instead of my other tutor. The last course that you need to do is COMP1511, which is Professional Issues and Ethics in Information Technology. This is basically just ethics and morals in technology, and I would say this is my favorite course because I very much like theoretical thinking, and I just really like the content that you learn in this course. I know a lot of people don't like it because you go into computer science not wanting to learn about morals and ethics of technology. So you do essay writing about ethics and technology. Now it's a pass-fail course. When my friends did it, it wasn't a pass-fail course, but it was a WAM tank-off. Now it's a pass-fail course and it won't affect your WAM, which is good in a sense. Unless you do well, then it just won't boost your WAM up. I would say it's easy to pass this course, especially now that it's pass-fail. But if you want to do well, just do the weekly readings. Even though they're 30 pages long, if I can skim through it, honestly, anyone could. Like, the reason why why is my hair like that? The reason why I like did the weekly readings was because when you want to reference it for your assignment, you already have that work done. Like, you have like 80% of the work done. The 20% is literally just like putting it all together. I didn't do this course with anyone I knew, but there is a group presentation for this, so yeah, if you don't want to risk having a bad group, then find someone that you want to do the group task with. But for the assessment layout, there is 1 individual essay. You get to choose from 3 questions. The most popular one is, is it ethical to kick a robot dog? I didn't do that one, but I know a lot of people do the robot dog one. That's why it's harder to get a better mark, because like a lot of people say the same thing and it's hard to stand out. Expound and assess rule-based Kantian ethics. So I thought that was more straightforward. I don't think a lot of people chose that one, but yeah. And then the group presentation, you get to choose a technology that uses AI and just evaluate the morality. And then the final is going to be during your last week shoot. 8 questions. It's a pen to paper one, basically just essay writing, rerun the HSC English, and they give you the questions a week beforehand, so you do memorize your answers. I memorized my answers, my references, but that's all I would have to say. If I had to rank the courses, I would say number 1 is my overall like happiness to do this course. I would say number 1 would be put 1521 on top, and then 4920, 1511, 1521, 2511 for the next one. I don't really remember, but if I don't remember having a bad memory of it, it can't be as bad as 2521 and 3121. Last would have to be 2521. Because I remember that final specifically. I remember everyone came out and was like, that was a rough final. Enjoy anyone that's going into any of these courses for next term or is deciding to do computer science at UNSW. I hope that my experience will help you know what to expect. I went into these courses just knowing nothing. I YOLO swagged it, and yeah, see you in the next video.